one of the vaccines being developed is out of Oxford. And I happen to know people and I studied with them.
Hi, everyone. Many times I meet science students who have a passion for research. Genomics, forensics, DNA profiling, superfoods, vaccines, genetically modified organisms, all such fields interest them. Today, let us meet one such student, Akshaya Balasubramaniam, who is living her dream at Oxford University. So, hi, Akshaya.
Hi, ma'am.
Welcome. And firstly, to begin with, tell everyone what has inspired you towards a career in biotech.
So actually, this whole thing really started out very early for me, right in the 9th or 10th standard itself.
Okay.
My dad is a professor of management, so he's already in the teaching space. He works at a university. So I already was kind of academically oriented. And then on top of everything, he gave me a book by Richard Feynman, which it was a collection of short stories. It's called Surely You're Joking, Mr. Feynman. And for those who don't know, Richard Feynman is a Nobel Prize winning physicist. And those stories really didn't have as much to do with science as they did to do with the fact that he was just having fun doing what he was doing and really having a passion for it. So I kind of read that and I went, hey, okay, there are things that you can do with science that are exciting and that you can really enjoy it. And it's not just about learning stuff out of a textbook and regurgitating it for an exam.
Absolutely. Yes.
So that kind of got me started thinking that maybe there's a possibility for me here. And I kind of started talking to people, reaching out to other profs in the university that my dad was working in, kind of just having casual conversations and trying to figure out what a career in science in general would mean. And then that kind of developed over 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, as I started studying more and more of high school science towards an inclination, or rather, I was inclined more towards the biological sciences, I found. So that's kind of what really sparked
Yeah, because when I met you, you were very certain that you are going to do research and you are going to pick up biotechnology. In fact, you had even zeroed on your college.
Yes, I had zeroed
you told
in on
me,
my
this is my
universities.
university and this is my college. I just need to get there. And you did it. Yes, you did it. You got your dream college. So what all went into preparing? Are there any other colleges you could recommend to students like these are absolutely good and, for biotechnology?
So even though I did biotechnology for an undergraduate, the fact is if you're looking at a research career in science, or even in the biotechnology space, you don't necessarily have to do an undergraduate in biotechnology. I know this sounds a little funny, but
that is the common knowledge students have.
Yes, you can actually also get away, or I shouldn't say get away, but you actually can also benefit from doing a degree in microbiology, for example, as an undergraduate degree, or even for that matter, in a combination of chemistry, zoology, botany. But this is very clearly for those individuals who are looking at a career in research and going to academia. If you're looking at a career in industry, yes, you are better off doing a biotechnology degree. So what it does is it opens up your options for the kind of colleges that you're going to be applying for. So the actual application process is going to be through an entrance exam. And that's, I think, almost a given for most of the science courses that most students in India are applying for. So the kind of questions that you would be asked are similar to the NEET or the IIT JEE format, as in terms of the syllabus. It's just the same. So if you're already prepping for those two exams, you're pretty much good to go for the kind of entrance exams that you're writing.
So if you're preparing for your medical and engineering entrances, you can very well have the same subject preparation and you can attempt your biotechnology exams also.
It just, yes. And it just depends on the college that you're going to. Some places might ask you for maths as well as biology.
So did you have maths?
I had all four. I had physics, chemistry, maths and biology. I was one of the few students who took all four because I knew I would need it.
But taking maths is helpful.
Absolutely. I cannot stress how important it is, even if you aren't doing maths as a subject for 11th and 12th that you should go outside and take a statistics course. If nothing else, just do a statistics course. If you're looking at biotechnology as a career, if you don't have statistics, even as for that matter, even doctors, I think should do statistics courses, because when you're looking at clinical trial data, and these are things doctors or medical students do, if you don't have basic stats, you're in trouble.
Now, as far as BTech is concerned, are there any other colleges you can recommend? Like, what was your college and which
Yeah.
are the other colleges you can recommend to
So
students?
that's another thing. I actually didn't do a BTech. I did a
Okay.
BSc.
Yeah.
So that is again a set of options that students have. Again, if you're looking for a more industrial engineering kind of degree, BTech. If you're looking for a more science-based, research-based degree, I suggest a BSc. I did my undergraduate at the Amrita University in Kollam, in Kerala, which is with their biotechnology specialization. There are pretty good degree options I hear also at in Delhi University. A bunch of colleges in DU offer. Similarly, St. Xavier's Kolkata has some excellent BSc courses that students should look at.
What you are trying to say is that for research, it is better to go for the BSc degree.
Depends. The issue is it depends on what kind of research you're going for. If you're going to on the technology side, you're very clear that I want to do things with biology, but I also want a physics, chemistry component to it. I really want to get on the tech side of biology. Then a BTech degree is absolutely the thing you should be going for. But if you're sure that you want to be doing things like molecular biology, want to be messing around on the cellular biology side of things, I personally believe you'd be more well equipped with a BSc degree from a very good university.
Absolutely.
That is I can't stress hard enough. You really need good profs, because if they don't teach you the concepts in the BSc degree, you're probably not going to do that well.
Yes, because I have heard from other students also that research work means you have to be mentored by the right people.
Absolutely. So
because you gain by the experience, by their research, their research, they guide you towards the right, because you don't have, there's so much time research takes, and you already you're on, if you are working with them, you start at a level which is needed,
absolutely,
at a higher level.
And just going off of that, actually, ma'am, the best place then, if you're very clear that you want to go for research career, is to join the IASC Bangalore and the ISERS, the Indian Institute of Science, Education, Research. Pune is amongst the best, but the others are not far behind. The professors there have almost to the last person been educated abroad. They've all have lots of experience. If not their PhDs, they've done their postdocs either in the US or the UK. They come in with so much of a knowledge base that you can then kind of go and use to build your own up. So the ISC and the ISERS are the top spots if you're absolutely sure you want a research career. Industry, I might not necessarily put them up there, because you might want to look at BTech options if you're looking at an industrial career in this space. And for that, BTech, places like BITS, the IITs, of course, I know they're hard to get into, but the IITs have options at a master's level. Not necessarily an undergraduate. And again, very good engineering colleges will all offer biotechnology courses. And I would just suggest to students really look at the profiles of the professors.
Yeah, that is very important.
More than just the reputation of the university, really look at the profile of the professors. And if you're really interested, contact one of them before applying. Just saying, sir, I'm an interested student. Can I just speak to you?
That can be a very good way, to approach them and to come to know about them and the field of work.
Yes.
That can be very important.
Yes. And invariably, profs tend to guide you better.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If they have the time, they tend to guide you better.
Yeah. So then last I heard from you, you were going to Oxford to pursue a course.
Yeah.
Yes? So it must have opened new doors of opportunities for you. So tell us about it.
So I went and did my master's in Oxford in immunology. So I went for the MSc in integrated immunology very specifically. I realized that within biotechnology, I had a specialization I was really interested in. And that I was very clear I did not want a general degree. Um, I applied. A combination of my qualifications and luck got me there. And it was an eye opener because this is the unfortunate part of all of us being in India, when we do well or you're in the top 5% or 10 or 2% in your subject, you think you're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And then you go out and then you realize you're good, but you're not equipped with the
Yeah.
skills
Yeah.
that you really need.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I sat in a class with peers who were far ahead of me. I mean, okay, Oxford was a bit of a bubble. I don't deny that the best in the world do end up there.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of an eye opener as to how much work and effort um, and talent one really needs to be up there. But it also showed me how I needed to apply myself, the kind of
Yeah.
goals I needed to put for myself. So it was a lovely experience. I met some of the best profs in the world
Okay.
and learned so much.
Yeah. So, how exactly did you apply for it, or
Mhm.
how you got there? In case the students want to pursue a master's in Oxford University, what are the
Yeah.
ways they should go about?
So, I mean, it's pretty much standard in terms of
Hmm.
the way applications work across the board in the
Yeah.
US or the UK, depending on whether or not you have a 4 year or 3 year degree for your undergraduate, you are eligible for the US. I wasn't, which is why I didn't apply in the
Okay.
US, because master's programs tend, it's not a hard and fast rule, but they tend to require 4 year undergraduate degrees in
Yeah.
the US.
Hmm.
So that's why I applied to the UK. So that kind of narrowed my application pool.
Yeah.
When I was applying, I wanted to go to an English speaking country for the
Yeah.
first time I was
Mm-hmm.
abroad. I didn't want, so again, um,
Mm.
when just searching up, because I knew immunology was what I wanted to do, I kind of
Okay.
looked up, found the degrees, and it's the application process is standard. You need to submit a statement of purpose,
Yeah.
which, depending on the university, the word count is different. But it's essentially to tell them why you want to do the subject, what your qualifications and background are that make you the right fit for the course and the
Yeah. Yeah.
university. Along with that, I had to submit 3 letters of recommendation
Mm-hmm. Which you got from
from
your professors.
which I did get from my professors.
Yeah.
And it's better any students who are looking at applying get full professors to
Yeah.
submit letter of recommendations. Try not to pick your assistant or associate profs. If
Yeah.
you're able to
Okay.
have a dean, that also helps.
Yeah.
And then after that, I sent in my stuff, my
Mhm.
transcripts as well, all
Okay.
my grade sheets till that point.
So grades
Um,
do matter. What do you, how well you have done in your BTech does or BSc does matter.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If I'll be honest, you need to be a straight A student.
Yeah. So you have to be working pretty hard in case, you
Yeah,
are aiming
looking
high.
at applying abroad. I mean, you need to work hard from day one.
Yeah.
There are a lot
Absolutely.
of students I know who go into university and think, oh, first year, the
Yeah.
12th has been killer on me, the entrance exams, I'm going to
Yeah.
take it easy. Uh,
Absolutely.
that's
It
not going
doesn't
to
work
work.
that way because if you are aiming
Absolutely.
at research and aiming at the best universities in the world,
Yeah.
so you have to pull up your socks.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, I was a straight A student. I think
Yeah.
I had, in my entire 3 years, I had two B's.
Yeah.
That's how hard I've worked.
You were working hard, even sitting in the along with the medical aspirants. You were working hard, and when you
Yeah.
came to me and told me, "No, medicine. I'm not doing medicine. I'm here for biotechnology."
Yeah.
So, in fact, it surprised me a little because coming from the science students in India, it
Yeah.
surprises you because often it's not the first choice, right? But you had it clear in your mind that you are born for research, and that is what you're going
Yes.
to pursue. So, Akshaya, when
Mhm.
you go for these courses
Yes.
and you go out of India for the courses, how do students take care of the expenses during such courses?
Yeah. So it depends on which degree you're going for abroad. So if you're going for an undergraduate degree abroad, it's going to be extremely difficult to rustle up a scholarship from India.
Yeah.
If your university is able to offer you a scholarship or a partial tuition waiver,
Mm.
that's going to be the main help that you get,
Yeah.
largely for an undergraduate degree. Outside of that, you're going to have to look at loans or see if your parents
Yeah.
uh, are able to help you out.
But in
So,
case you do your bachelor's degree in India
mhm,
and then for master's you want to go out,
mhm.
so are the universities offering good
Yes,
scholarships?
there are, but you will have to search because a lot of these scholarships are subject dependent. So some
Okay.
of them are offered directly by the university. So you have dean's list scholarships, as you have some that come from the vice chancellor, some
Mhm.
that will come from the department directly, and these are all university based scholarships. That's
Okay.
one section. Then the government of India also does have with the MHRD, really, they have scholarship programs that they have signed on with other countries.
Okay.
So
Okay.
so I would suggest that students please go on to the MHRD website and look at their
Mhm.
scholarships pages. Now I realize the government of India doesn't have the best websites. You might have to do a little bit of searching around, but every year and constantly they keep putting up scholarship options, and a lot of these you'll have to interview for. So I interviewed for the Commonwealth Scholarship. I made it, but unfortunately didn't make it onto the final list. And the Commonwealth Scholarship no more it exists in the same form that it used to, in the
Okay.
sense that they don't cover all subjects like before. So
Okay.
it
Right.
really depends on what subject you're applying for.
Okay.
And similarly, there is something known as the INLACS scholarship, which is again for master's programs, first timers.
Okay.
So you should not hold a degree from um, any foreign country before you apply. That's the only condition. This has to be the first time you're going abroad, and it's for master's programs.
Yeah. So when you go for the master's program, is it
Mhm.
also possible that you sort of you can pick up a job and sort of fund yourself a little bit, or
A
it doesn't
little
give
bit,
you
yes.
time?
So it depends on which university you're going to. If you're going to a university that's allowing you to do like a part-time course
Yeah.
and you have able to get a visa, this is now very important to get a
Ah,
visa that
yeah.
allows you to work, because if you're going on a student visa, you're not allowed to do more than 20 hours a week.
Yeah.
And honestly, for the amount that you're going to be earning on minimum wage, you're not going to really be able to make that significant an
For your
inroad
tuition fees.
for
Yeah.
your tuition fees,
Hmm.
unless you have a scholarship.
So that
If you
means you will have to work for a scholarship if you actually want to
Yes,
refrain from, making the
absolutely.
payment on your own.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and scholarships are available.
Hmm.
They're difficult as usual. They're difficult, but it's not that they're impossible. So in lakhs, there's the Commonwealth Scholarship. Then
Ah,
similarly,
okay.
there's the Japanese government is offering scholarships, I believe,
Okay. Okay.
in India. I'm not sure of the exact
Okay.
requirements. Maybe students can go look because it's been a
Hmm.
while since
Hmm.
I've
Hmm.
done them, the searching. Similarly,
Yeah.
I believe the South Korean government has scholarships.
Hmm.
Germany has the DAAD program,
Okay.
DAAD, and this is for the sciences as well.
Okay.
Um, so these are
So the
just a
best
couple.
is to do some kind of research on the scholarships when you're
Absolutely.
doing your bachelor's. So
Yes.
simultaneously, because the scenario keeps on changing
Yes.
also, right?
It
Some
keeps changing.
scholarships may or may not be available at the time when
Hmm.
you are planning to,
Yes.
go about it.
And I suggest all the searching happen about a year ahead, because applications for the US, UK all go out between September and December of the
Mhm.
year before you join. So if you're joining
Okay.
2020, your application for the university will go in 2019, September to December.
Okay.
Those are the deadlines. And the scholarships, a lot of them either happen during that same time frame or a little earlier. There
Yeah.
are certain scholarships that are given before you get admission to the university.
Okay.
So they are actually giving you the scholarship on the basis of your potential, not on the fact that you're holding an active admission.
Right. Right.
So you really need to be searching in June, July
Yeah.
of your final year, as in before you start your final year, in the summer break between your second year, third year, or your third year and fourth year,
Yeah.
depending on the length of
So
your
it
degree.
makes sense to go in the master's degree with the scholarship, or you apply
Yeah.
for your PhD program with scholarship. That
Yes.
makes more
Yeah.
sense.
PhD programs are generally fully funded, except in the
Yeah.
UK.
Yeah, but getting into PhD programs in US, for example,
Mhm.
in prestigious university, it makes I think it's easier if you have done your masters outside or no.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you get
Uh,
much more recognition
yes,
then.
you do.
Yeah,
Unless, of course, you're from maybe a very well known IIT. Not all IITs also
yeah.
qualify. I'll be
Hmm.
very honest. If you're from a slightly obscure IIT, I don't
It,
know. You're going to
it
really have to have the kind of
yeah.
profile that stands out. But if you're from an IIT Bombay or an IIT Delhi,
Yeah.
Generally, students who have masters from IIT Bombay and IIT Delhi, I have seen, or even Kharagpur, I have seen quite a few who
Okay.
go out and who do well. But then they also
Okay.
have professors who have recommended them, and the profs would know someone or would be able to help push your application.
Yeah,
So that's
absolutely.
also important. If you're really looking at a PhD, cultivate relationships with your professors who know other people
Yeah,
and who can help
absolutely.
push your paperwork.
That's quite an advice, and I think it's a very useful advice to the students. So now that you were telling me that you are
Mhm.
planning for a PhD in a US
Yeah,
university, so now that will be a dream for many students,
yeah.
right? So how exactly, how easy it is to get into a PhD program of a US university? What all is needed, and what are the ways in which you
Mhm.
apply? What comes across as the best way to go about it?
Um, so I'll be honest, it's
Mhm.
really not easy at
Yeah.
all.
Okay.
I would, it's actually easier to get in for a master's program than it is for a
Hmm.
PhD program. So that's number one. And this largely has to do with the fact that for a PhD program, you don't have to come up with funding, right? For a master's program, there's an option that students can pay. So there is no scholarship requirement. But most students, I mean, I shouldn't say most students, no student can really afford to pay for a PhD.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, I mean, it just doesn't work. You can't pay
Hmm.
that much money for 6 years, which is kind of the average time that a doctorate takes in the US. But on the other hand, a lot of parents are still, or loans can be
Hmm.
taken out to
Hmm.
support a master's program. And US universities are aware of that,
Yeah.
which is why they tend to give out master's admissions more easily to
Then PhD.
10 PhDs,
Hmm.
because the PhD, I mean, the guides are now very clearly looking for these right fit as a student,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because they have to also shell out the money from their own funds or the university funds. So they are not just going to compromise at all
Yeah.
for the doctoral student that they're going to pick. Just for an example, I have an excellent profile. I mean,
Hmm.
this is not to
Yeah.
say, I mean, I'm good. I may not be the best, but I have a pretty good profile.
Yeah. Hmm.
And I applied for about a year to different
Okay.
PhD programs, and I
Hmm.
was rejected across
Okay.
the board, everywhere. I didn't even get an interview the first time around that I applied. And
Okay.
that was a bit of a wake up call, but
Hmm.
it was what it was.
Hmm.
I applied the second time around, and that's when like the interviews like really came
Yeah.
around. And that's just something you're going to have to prepare for, especially if you're applying to the top 10, 20 universities.
Yeah. So, which is
So
the university you're going to?
I'm going to the Scripps Research Institute. So it's actually not a
Okay.
university, it's
Okay.
a purely research based institute that's very well known for chemistry, applied
Okay.
chemistry, and biological sciences.
Okay. So that must be really exciting for you.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it worked out. I actually I got the
Yeah.
institute I wanted and the
Yeah.
professors I wanted. So
Yeah.
it, it was rewarding.
You have always been very careful about choosing your right teachers, right?
I learned from my father and my
Mm,
mother because I come from a family of teachers. So it's not just my
yeah,
dad. So, and
yeah,
the I've been taught the value of education and the value of
mm,
having someone, a really good mentor
absolutely, yeah,
right from the start. So, I mean, even coming to high school when I did and studied with you, that was like a pretty big
mm,
decision for me because I
yeah.
chose, because
Oh,
I
I
knew like,
enjoyed having you as my student. So it
thank you,
was,
ma'am.
and it's lovely to see, my students going places and doing so well, and it's a blessing. Yes.
Thank you.
So,
Appreciate that.
yeah. So the research, you are heading towards a research
Yeah.
work. That means, right? So the
Very
world
clear.
of research is opening up to you.
Yes.
You already must have done some research work when you were in Oxford with
Yes.
the professors, right? You
Yes.
must
Yes.
have indulged in some
Yeah.
pretty good, exciting
Hmm.
research work, right? And the results, when you get them, it is a different feeling altogether,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Oh,
Absolutely,
absolutely.
yes. So, can you tell us some interesting research? There was so many incidents, which
Yeah.
you must have come across. So many interesting researches you must have done with those,
Oh, yeah.
people. So, tell me about a few of them. So it's like
Okay.
we get
Um,
excited along with you.
yeah. So I actually have a couple of experiences. So
Okay.
um, with my master's research or my thesis work was only 3 months,
Okay.
but I spent that time in one of the top virology labs in the UK. Actually, I should say in the world.
Virology
Um,
labs.
a virology lab,
Okay,
yes.
I'm all ears. Yeah.
Viral immunology, actually. So
Okay.
the lady, the professor I was working with,
Mm.
and it was nice because both the PIs I worked with were women, which
Okay.
I appreciated when in a world that's generally you're surrounded
Yeah.
by men who are
That's a
professors
different topic.
entirely. But yes,
Yeah, entirely different topics.
so she worked on the immunology of T
Okay.
cells, which is, of course, as we know, a very important part of the adaptive immune system,
Mm-hmm.
and how they respond to HIV.
Mm-hmm.
So I very specifically worked on understanding of the function and the phenotype of type of rare T cell that, and which is known as an unconventional T cell,
Okay.
and characterizing how they are different in people who are healthy, or I should not say healthy, I should say HIV seronegative,
Okay.
and those that are HIV seropositive.
Okay.
And it was just a comparison and kind of trying to figure out what the differences were. I'm afraid I can't talk about the results because
No,
that's
I
just the way it
understand.
is.
Yeah, yeah, I can
I'm
understand. But it must be exciting to work on this, because
absolutely.
it's the way the immunity system works itself is
Oh, it's
so
fascinating.
exciting. It's so
It's
fascinating,
fascinating.
The immunity system will respond even to a vaccine or even to how
Yes.
it will respond to various strains of the
Hmm.
viruses. There is
Hmm.
so much being spoken about, and
Yep.
the people who are actually in depth studying them it at a molecular level,
Yes.
at a cellular level, these
Yep.
are the people who can give us the details of
Yes.
the truth behind all that.
Absolutely. And I actually got a little lucky in that sense because right out of Oxford, I joined Christian Medical College Vellore
Okay.
for about a year and 6 months ish, to work with Professor Gagandeep Kang, who
Okay.
is right now, I mean, you see her on TV because she is
Yeah, yeah,
leading
yeah.
vaccinology expert. So I worked
Mm,
with her actually, and
interesting.
on a couple of projects that were some of them were vaccine related, some of them were not.
Okay.
But that was, again, very exciting research. Even doing research, you can absolutely impact lives. It might take more time. You might not necessarily see it right from the start, but
See,
you actually are doing important
the
work.
doctors are working on the front line, like they are the
Yeah.
ones who are trying to save lives,
Hmm.
but they have to be supported by medicines, they have to be supported by
Hmm.
research, they have to be supported, even they are
Yes.
dependent on it. And then, if not for the people who are working, who are researching, who are working hard, it's easy to say we are going to have a huge vaccination drive, right? But then
Absolutely.
there has to be somebody who has been the true heroes behind
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, no, and actually, one of the vaccines being developed is out of Oxford. And I happen to know people, and I studied with them, and I have
Yeah.
spoken to them.
Oh,
Uh, and I actually studied, I think it was the fifth generation version of the adenoviral vector. I've studied and
okay.
asked them questions. Mhm.
So in India, how do you compare biotechnology as a career option?
Um, so I'll be honest, on the research side of things, there's not that many options.
Okay, yeah.
I'll be very real. In
Mhm.
industry, yes. Within the pharma companies, yes, there's absolutely space to grow and build up. If you're looking at pure academic research, not as much. Um, and that largely has to do with the fact that India as a country has other problems to deal with.
Yeah.
And, we've been putting our money um, towards things like sanitation and getting
Yeah.
clean water. So research that kind of looks at those things
Mhm.
is very well supported. But that picture has been changing slowly
Okay.
and steadily. Industrially, that we have big pharma
Mhm.
in India. I mean, it's there. They have they have developed. Big pharma has developed in India a lot faster
Yeah.
compared to a lot of other countries. If you really look at the timeline,
So, Akshaya, I wanted to ask you, like in the present scenario,
Yes.
when we have all these big biotech companies
Hmm.
are in news, and
Yes.
we are globally being acclaimed as the vaccine providers to the world,
Yes.
right? So, do you think it sounds some kind of a new beginning for a
Absolutely.
total new biotechnological sector coming up, and better career opportunities opening up,
Yes.
and also people moving towards their own biotech companies, and
Yes.
starting it
Yes.
up? So these
Mhm.
kind of employment generations will be there in future.
No, absolutely. So that's the thing. So
It
I
might be a
can't.
turning point.
It might take a little time. So for students right now, by the time you're done studying,
Yeah,
there are probably going to be options. If you're looking to get employed right now,
yeah,
it might be a bit harder. But no, with the boom that's kind of happening, there's so much space. And the Department of Biotechnology and the
yeah,
Department of Science and Technology are really putting the money in it. It's not that they're not.
yeah,
It's just that you need to find the niche. Genomics is a huge thing,
yeah.
and
It's a
that's
huge
another thing
thing.
that's really not been explored in India. Is
Yeah,
really our the genetic profiles as a population,
yeah.
because that technology is now starting to come in the US and the UK.
Absolutely. Yeah,
It's pretty much untapped in India, and our population is so diverse.
yeah,
There's going to be a lot of genetic diversity as
yeah.
well that we're going to have to.
Bioinformatics and even DNA
Exactly.
profiling. There's so much in
Absolutely.
it.
So this,
Yeah,
and then if you take that, this is just a bit of a angle away from biotechnology, but
yeah.
there's forensic sciences that
Oh,
are
yeah,
also now
right.
using all kinds of things. So
Yeah.
there, it's not that there isn't space to grow. There
There is lot
absolutely
of
is.
there is a
There's
lot of
lots.
there are immense opportunities in
Absolutely.
biotechnology.
You just need to
Yeah,
figure it out. And the money will come in now,
yeah,
is what I'm trying to say. As in the money, the focus, it'll really
yeah,
start coming in. And there's going to be a bit of a boom where
yeah,
the already existing companies are going to really expand and
yeah.
really start, making use
Yeah,
of
I
the
think this is
talent.
the time. This is the time. Students who are actually passionate about biotechnology, this is the exact moment we were
Yes, this is
waiting
a good
for.
time to be coming in.
Absolutely.
I don't deny that.
Because yeah, because I can see this growing up in future, and
Yeah.
children who will opt for biotechnology. See, children who opted for biotechnology 10 years back,
It's
right?
very different.
It was
The
very different.
picture's completely different.
Now it's totally changing. Now even a normal person who's not even clued up about sciences, he's
Mhm.
so because
Is
of the
aware.
social media is aware of vaccines, is
Absolutely.
aware of the importance of biotechnology,
Yes.
is aware of so many other things like genomics also. People do
Yes.
talk. Those who
Yep.
don't even know about it are talking
Oh,
about
yes.
it. So that
Yes.
gives us the hint that yes, the time is right. It's coming up, right?
Hmm.
So Akshaya, we are. In fact, I'm waiting for a huge research work from you, and
Oh,
I'll come. I'll come to
I'll
know
keep you
one fine
updated,
day.
ma'am.
Yes, one
Hopefully.
fine day that Akshaya has discovered something,
Fingers crossed, ma'am.
terrific
I'll be
for
able to something.
mankind, right? Yeah.
Fingers crossed, but
Uh,
I'll keep you updated definitely.
so nice of you. Akshaya, it was wonderful speaking to you,
Hmm.
right?
I hope I
And
was helpful, and I hope the things I've said are able to, give somebody a sense of direction or.
of course, because so many times students are asking me about what is the future of biotechnology. I'm
Hmm.
interested in research. Can I take it up? Right?
Hmm.
Is biotechnology going to give me any employment opportunities?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
these kind of questions, because after all, when they speak to their parents regarding their
I
career
know.
choices, employment becomes a
Absolutely.
big issue, right? It is
It
a
really
very
is.
important thing. How many employment benefits you're going to get, and how easy it is going for
Hmm.
you to go out of India and study, and
Hmm.
how easily are scholarships
Yeah.
available. So these are going to be the kind of things students
Yeah.
worry about. So if you're working hard, scholarships are available,
They
right?
are. They're not
And
easy to come by,
yeah,
but they're there. And
they
if
are
you
there.
work for them, it is available. It's not that
Yeah,
it isn't. You might have to be willing to face a little bit of rejection, but I think with students who do entrance exams for a couple of times, I think you kind of toughen up a little. So if you're
yeah,
willing to put yourself through that, I think you can put yourself
yeah.
through a little bit of rejection and maybe try something different.
Yeah, the road is not very easy, but
It's not,
it
but
is
no
very
road is.
fruitful. And
But
no
no
road
road
is. No
is.
road is.
So
Yeah.
I think that's just the disclaimer I'll add.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy, but nothing's easy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All the best, Akshaya, for your
Yeah.
future endeavors,
Thank you,
right?
ma'am. Yeah,
Keep
thank you. I
following your
appreciate it.
dreams.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye
Yeah.
bye.
Bye.